What is up? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. I'm your host, the fellow KGB. We're joined here by John Heffernan tonight. It is your Tuesday night hangout, but we're doing real NBA playoff talk. This is not fantasy talk. This is just kind of hanging out, talking NBA. We got the play-in tournament going on right now. Charlotte Hornets down 30-49 to the Pacers. So we'll kind of keep tabs on that game. But John, man, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Doing good, man. This playing game it was fun, and then the Pacers started running away with it.
It's Doug McDermott, dude. He comes in and he's going to put the team on his back this first quarter, I suppose.
Hero ball.
Yeah, 4 or 5 from 3 to start the game. They put up 40 in the first quarter, and then Sabonis and Brogdon both were questionable. They did end up playing today. So, I don't know. We'll kind of keep tabs on that. We'll kind of look at some other things, too. We have a fun little challenge thing to fill out. We got Aaron Keenan in the chat. We got Justin hanging out. He did end up with second place. We got the $40. But yeah, I'm excited about this. I think Boston can be more competitive. It's going to be all about Jason Tatum tonight. But I think it's safe to say we expected the Pacers to win this game, yes?
I think so, especially because Sabonis and Brogdon are both playing. I think that makes a big difference. But I mean, both of these teams are even still with Sabonis and Brogdon back. Both these teams are banged up. I was expecting kind of a rock fight type game, but the Pacers obviously came to play.
And I didn't think they were going to start at 6 exactly. I thought this game was scheduled for a little bit later, but it's kind of cool. We get a live check-in on a game. But we got the more fun game tonight. We got Washington and Boston, which I'm excited about. I think Boston could be competitive. I know no Jaylen Brown tonight, but it's going to be all Tatum. Is there any chance Boston wins this game tonight, or are they going to be playing Thursday?
I expect the Wizards to play. I mean, we have a team on the rise and a team on the fall, but I definitely expect the Wizards to win this game tonight.
And everybody's healthy for the Wizards. Boston's just been kind of bleeding out. So we'll see. I'm open to a surprise. That game's on TNT later. Is this game on TV right now?
They're both on TNT, yeah, back to back on TNT.
Well, just because of the schedule, I'm glad they did, East and one night. They didn't have to space anything out. So tomorrow night, though, oh man, tomorrow night. We'll talk about that in a sec. But before we get into that, we're going to talk a little bit of NBA Top Shot real quick because they just launched something pretty cool here. If you guys are into NBA Top Shot, you go to momentranks.com. This is another one of those market evaluator sites where you can see your profile, how it stacks up. But they added this feature called Play. And we've been kind of waiting for something cool like this to happen where you can play with your moments. And it's kind of like a DraftKings FanDuel DFS style thing where you can, I'll just click on the My Games tab. John and I are playing right now against each other. Fellow KGB, you got half over here. And you're able to, tonight's game, there's only 2 games, but you had a lineup to pick from the moments you own. And then they go head to head. It's just like fantasy, and they're scoring points right now. We both have Beal, Sabonis, and Westbrook, but the difference makers are he's got Lonzo Ball and Rui Hachimura. I got Tatum and Rozier. So I think you didn't have a Tatum moment.
I don't have a Tatum, no. But I can't believe you said Alonzo. It's a LaMelo. Put some respect on him, baby.
Just because I was reading a Alonzo report earlier today about his contract and hoping to stay around in New Orleans. So.
Interesting.
LaMelo Ball. But I don't know. Check out momentranks.com. You can do some head-to-head stuff. They also have daily contests where you submit a lineup and you can try to win. So this is the rewards tonight. So whoever's got the best lineup is going to get this Sabonis dunk, top 5 prizes here, each get a moment. So I don't know. Hopefully one of us can take one of those home. But we just wanted to throw that out there real quick. We'll take a peek at that at the end of the show too, see who's winning. But I kind of wanted to let's dissect this bracket for a little bit. What do you think?
The Top Shot thing is so fun, but yeah, let's talk about real basketball for once because we do fantasy a lot. But this bracket's fun. Where do you want to start, Kyle?
Well, tonight's game, we're expecting Indiana to win, so they're gonna go to the winner of that game goes to play on Thursday night against the loser of Boston and Washington. And we expect that to be Boston. So we're expecting Pacers versus Celtics. Loser goes home. Winner gets the 8th seed. So let's just kind of just look at the East because we'll get to the West in a little bit. But assuming Philly's going to play, who do you like in that game, Boston or Indiana? First of all,
Yeah, I mean, the way the way Boston is moving right now, and especially with Indiana, with Brogdon and Sabonis, if they're truly back, I'd probably take Indiana.
I would agree with that. And we're gonna pencil in Indiana against Philly. Can they give Philly a run, or are we just gonna move Philly on to the next round? Is it maybe goes 5 games, maybe 6?
Honestly, I like the Indiana matchup with Philly better than than maybe any of these teams
Yeah.
because I like some of their big guys. But yeah, 5, 6 games max. I don't see that being a competitive series for Philly. I think they dominate.
All right, and then so we got the matchup here, the 4-5 with the Knicks and the Hawks. I think that game that one's got potential to go to 7. The way the Hawks kind of get streaky with their scoring, but the Knicks have been playing some of the best basketball out of anybody the last like month of the season here. I don't know. I can't even like accurately predict. I'd probably lean with the Knicks in 6 or 7. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like home court advantage has a big factor to play in this series. So I'd take the Knicks, and I'd say 6 or 7 as well. Probably 7.
All right, we're gonna skip the Bucks real quick because we're gonna be homers there. But so then we're gonna get Brooklyn versus Washington, like Russell Westbrook versus the two amigos. Like, I would assume as long as everybody's on the floor for Brooklyn, you got to assume they can take care of business in like 6 games. Maybe Russell gets hot and keeps things going, but I think I'm gonna move Brooklyn past Washington. What do you think?
Yeah, it feels kind of similar to Philly. I mean, as supernova as Russell Westbrook is right now, and Beal's a little banged up, but he can put in 30 points in his sleep with one leg. So Washington is a dangerous opponent for Brooklyn because I don't really love Brooklyn's defense. But as bad as Brooklyn's defense can be, Washington's defense is so much worse. And the Nets are just going to, I mean, they could put up 130, 140 a game in that series if they really want to. So give me the Nets in 5, maybe 4.
I pulled up one of Aiden's comments here. He says, "In the current NBA, threes win game, talent wins series." That's going to complement really well for both Washington and Brooklyn because you talk about Bradley Beal, you throw in Bertans, a couple other 3-point shooters for Washington, and then you got all the talent on the Brooklyn side. I think that could be. I don't know. That's probably be. I would probably watch almost every game of that series as long as it is it's going strong. But let's get to. All right, what do we do with Milwaukee and Miami before we get to the West here? What do you think?
I mean, I'll take Bucks in 6, but you know me, so I don't need to talk about this for too long. If you wanna focus on other subjects, I can just simply go with the Bucks in 6.
Well, I was gonna say we should pick the final 4 for the East. So it sounds like we got Philly, we got the Knicks, we got Milwaukee, and we got Brooklyn. So all top 4 seeds advance. And then let's kind of talk. Let's preview these games tomorrow night. I'm actually excited about Memphis and San Antonio. I think that's going to be a dogfight. But then you get like tomorrow night's such good games. Lakers and Golden State. I would imagine the Golden State Laker game is the nightcap. But let's start with Memphis and San Antonio. I could lean either way. I think I'm gonna go with Memphis though.
Ooh. This both of these elimination games are really hard for me. I think I'll probably go Memphis as well, but Popovich, man, he's if anything, this is when he knows what he's doing. So I'll still take Memphis though. That game I think will be close.
It's gonna come. I mean, if DeRozan can kind of put on a cape and do some great San Antonio, they're well coached. They got players that have been in those situations before. They're still kind of young, but I think a player like DeRozan can get things done, and it's all going to be about that 3-point shooting. But we'll move Memphis to the play-in game here, and then the Heat, or not the Heat, but I was looking at some of Aiden's comments down here talking about the Heat. But we got the Lakers and Golden State. What are we? What? I don't even know how. It sounds like LeBron and AD will both be there. Is Curry enough? Can Curry get it done on his own?
I definitely expect the Lakers to win that game. I think that Curry could. I mean, Curry single-handedly could put up 50, 45, 50. everyone else shows up and they win. But give me the Lakers. It feels like a really easy game for the Lakers if they're remotely healthy.
If you tell me LeBron's got to just win one game, he's gonna win the one game to get in. He's not gonna want to go to the play-in game to have to play Memphis or San Antonio. So we're gonna put the Lakers in as the seventh. They're gonna match up with Phoenix, which is kind of fun. And then you're gonna get Golden State versus Memphis. I'm gonna put Golden State into the eight just because I don't think you can Steph Curry in these kind of situations. I think if he doesn't get the first one, he'll get the next one. So is that safe to say Golden State and Lakers will both still advance into the playoffs?
Yeah, yep, that's what I think. That's what I think will happen. Memphis is. I think they could take down. I really think anyone could beat the Warriors as long as you can try to hold Steph down. But or if he's cold, but he's too good right now. So you can give me the Warriors.
And then kind of just looking like I want to. We'll come back to this bracket in a little bit, but we gotta advance 4 teams in the West yet. So we're gonna have Utah versus Golden State. I'm not gonna go against like the best team pretty much all season has been Utah. I think they're gonna keep it up. Steph Curry could maybe steal a game or two, but that game should be 5 or 6, no more than 6.
Yeah, I think Jazz in 6.
Okay, this one's going to be fun. We're almost to Aiden's Portland Trailblazers, but the Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. Is Luka going to advance? I'm gonna root for Luka. I'm gonna pick the Dallas Mavericks in this. I think they got some healthy players right now. Kawhi and Paul George. They're great players, but they've been dinged up the last month or a month and a half or so. And I think I like the depth of Dallas a little bit, and I don't know. I want to see Luka succeed, so I'm gonna pick Dallas here. What do you got?
Give me Clippers in 6.
I think that series has potential to go to 7. I would love that. I also think this Denver Portland could these one of these is going to go to 7 games. I think we all would love to see 7 games of Dame Lillard versus Jokic. I think that could be a lot of fun. It just sucks that there's no Jamal Murray. But man, was this a matchup last year? Did Denver beat Portland?
Portland Lakers round 1 last year.
That's what it was. Okay. Yep. But I don't know, man. We got a couple Portland Trailblazers fans in here. It is a rematch of last year, I believe. I thought it was. Let's see.
I thought the Lakers played the Blazers in round 1, but I could be mistaken.
Preseason.
Look up the 2020 playoff bracket.
Here. How do I?
There you go.
Okay, so it was Denver, Utah, then Denver Clippers. Okay, so yeah, it was Portland Lakers. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, I'm remembering the Denver Utah series. It was Mitchell versus Murray, basically that series. That was a fun series.
Yes. Clippers Dallas is a rematch. I think around, but beyond that, no rematch. Yeah, I think the Blazers win that one in 7.
Oh man, Aaron Keenan's breaking some news saying Sabonis is hurt. It looks like he slammed his head on the ground. Shit. That game, they're within distance. They're within 16 right now. But if Sabonis is forced to miss some time, this is going to give Charlotte an opportunity to play some big minutes without Sabonis. But anyway, we'll keep us updated on the Sabonis injury if he comes back or not. If you guys are watching, but I'll let you take it away. Denver, Portland. What can we predict to see here?
Well, I think you said it. You said it yourself. Murray's out. I just think he's such a big engine for what they're trying to do, especially in the playoffs. Jokic deserves to win MVP this year. He's an incredible player, but I don't think you can do it on your own. And for once in their lives, Portland is the healthy team in a series, so I think they take advantage of it.
Yeah, and I mean Nurkic has been playing like a beast lately. You still have Cantor as a backup, so like they can match up with Jokic. Any of those two guys can match up with him quite well. And then you got two shooters on the team. Norman Powell was a nice player to add for this playoff run. You know, it's going to be who's got the best. I think the best talent coming off the bench when that second team comes in, and I think Portland can hang, and I think they can outshoot Denver. Denver doesn't really have a lot of shooters, do they? Um, but Jordan Clarkson, no, Jordan Clarkson's Utah. I'm thinking, who am I thinking off the bench? Who's Denver's shooter?
Um, that's a good question. I don't know. It's not maybe Will Barton, maybe Monte Morris. It used to be.
Might have been Morris. Dozier kind of comes in sometimes. I think I like the depth of the Blazers a little bit when that second team comes in. So we're gonna move this is technically our first upset. We're gonna take Portland to upset Denver here. Aaron Keenan says Portland.
You had Dallas. You had Dallas. We're split on the Dallas Clippers series.
Okay. And then Phoenix Lakers. How do we even start with that?
First off, it's going to be the most entertaining series of the entire playoffs. I'm calling that one right now. If the Lakers are fortunate enough to defeat the Sky Fudger, the Sky Lover, Steph Curry, I think the Lakers beat Phoenix, and I think they do it in 6 games, maybe 7. I think that series is going to be super competitive. You have LeBron versus Chris Paul, 2 alpha dogs just going at it. It's going to be fun. That's Western Conference Finals caliber basketball in round 1.
And if you tell me LeBron's not going to tweak anything, like he's going to play every game possible in that series, I'm taking LeBron without even thinking. But man, like this probably a minimum 6 to 7 game series. We're gonna go with the upset here. We're gonna go with the Lakers. Phoenix had a great run, but I don't know. Chris Paul, he's got that non-championship, allure around him. We'll see if healthy LeBron and AD can get things done. But I don't know. That's pretty much what I wanted to kind of talk about at first. And then I figured let's have some fun. So we'll kind of cover back and we'll make our Final Four predictions in our Western Conference. You know, the championship game.
The bonus is back in.
Yep. That's what we got word from in here. And then Aiden makes a good point. Whoever wins the 2-7 games, whether it's Phoenix or the Lakers, that series against Portland is going to be a lot of fun, but I would imagine the 2 or the 7 would get by the winner of that one. But I did pull up, hold on, my mouse is tweaking out here. Come on. We got a little challenge thing going on here. Why can't I select it? Connection lost. 1 second. There we go.
Ooh, Dougie McBuckets with a nice sweep and layup.
Another one. Okay, so we got this is on ESPN. They have a little tournament pick'em challenge thing going on, and it's kind of fun. You scroll down, we can kind of just pick these games as they go here. So we already kind of talked about what we thought the Bucks were going to do, and the reason why I think the Bucks are different this year, it's pretty obvious to me. It's Drew Holiday. And yeah, the Miami Heat had a really good defensive game plan against Giannis last postseason. But the essence of Drew Holiday, John, what does he do for the Bucks, and why is he going to be the ultimate? Why is he going to be the player that makes this a different series against the Heat?
Yeah, I mean, I think Drew, he offers an option to guard Jimmy Butler that he didn't have last year. And also, if Jimmy Butler's not in the game, or if you want to put someone else on Jimmy Butler, like a PJ Tucker, who also wasn't around last year, you can throw Drew Holiday on Tyler Hero, on Duncan Robinson, and make their lives a living hell. Mm-hmm. I think the defense he brings to the game and the versatility of that defense, I think it could unlock a lot of things the Bucks are amazing at, primarily transition. If you're able to get some of those threes to clank off that were being drained last year, or if you're able to make Jimmy Butler's life 5 to 10% more difficult, and some of his tougher shots, go from rattling in to rattling out, I think it changes the entire situation for the Bucks. So I really think Drew could be a very, very awesome chess piece, especially on the defensive end, to throw at the Heat, who right now have a top 10 offense in the league. They are the hottest they've been all season offensively. So the more solid and versatile defenders you have, the better right now. And I think the Bucks are actually a team with a lot of really good defenders. So
And
we'll see. But Drew Holiday might be their best one.
I like the Bucks' depth this year. It was kind of tested the last month and a half or so. They got some really good I I was really nervous about how our depth looked at the beginning of the year, but you talk about guys like Bobby Portis, talk about like Bryn Forbes has been impressive. The way Dante DiVincenzo's stepped up this year, I think the Bucks are just a little bit deeper. This is a different team. They did lose a lot of games this year compared to the last couple of years, but I think this you watch them and they're not the team that we've seen the last 2 years. They're a little bit more well-rounded. They still lead the NBA in scoring, so that didn't change. But they got a little bit better on the defensive side of the ball, I think, with adding Drew Holiday. So it goes with everything that you kind of just talked about there with versatility on defense. So we're gonna move the Bucks across here. Who will score more points in the first round, John?
Yeah, I think it's Giannis. I was just doing a little bit of research quickly before we hopped on here, and I want to just read some stuff to you. Giannis was fifth in the league in points per game, fourth in the league in rebounds per game, 17th in assists per game, 16th in steals per game, and fifth in blocks per game out of all players who played at least 20 games and at least played 20 minutes or more per game. So basically, he was in the top 20 of every statistical category. So if you're across the entire NBA, across the entire regular season, so you give me any one of these questions: points, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals. I'm going to take. And Giannis is on one side. I'll take the Giannis side pretty much every time. One extra note on that: Giannis is he was like 30th in true shooting percentage this season. And we all know, if you're a Bucks fan, you know he clanks. I mean, some nights he's hotter than others, but he just whips out at least like 3, 4, 5 threes a game, just to get the reps. So his true shooting percentage is definitely like negatively affected by that. But I think he's incredible. I think he's also the only player ever to, or the second player ever to ever do top 20 in every statistical category, or the 5 big statistical categories to go through an entire regular season and do that. The only other player ever was Giannis himself in 2016, 2017. And I'm pretty sure no one's done it in between. And I'm pretty sure I'm the first one reporting it today that he did it this year. I don't think I've heard or seen anyone had actually say he's done that. Now, I forget exactly what their statistical criteria cutoffs are, but I'm pretty sure the 20 games played and the 20 minutes per game are pretty good qualifiers for who played, a healthy sample this season. So I think Giannis he had a down year, it's craziness. He's hard to understand. So that's my long-winded answer of who's going to score more points in that playoff series between Jimmy Butler and Giannis. I'll take Giannis, please.
Okay. Well, I will not argue. We're gonna go Giannis, but with the Bucks here. And then here, we kind of already talked about this. We're going to lean with the Blazers. Is this just a second chance here? We're going to lean with the Blazers. And then this one's interesting. This is points and assists. This one was just points.
It's points and assists.
Plus assists. So that makes me think Jokic, man. Like he's
1 second.
going to run through him.
Give me Lillard.
We'll go Lillard with the points plus assists.
How many assists? What's the gap? Jokic has more assists per game than Lillard, but would you say the gap is greater or less than 1 assist per game?
It's greater. It's got to be greater.
It's less. Jokic is at 8.3 and Lillard is 7.5 per game. So give me Lillard, because Lillard's definitely going to outscore Jokic on a per game basis.
Yeah, that's no question then. I'm just checking a peek here at that score. Hornets are still down at half. So 69-45, it's at halftime. Sabonis, it sounded like he did come back. Doug McDermott still hitting buckets. He's got 20 at half. So if you're a Pacers fan, this is feeling really good. Everybody's back. Everybody's healthy. they might get out of this one without having to to stress too much minutes and get their guys some rest for Thursday. But so we just took Damian Lillard with the points and the assists here. Who's going to win this series? We were split.
Mavericks. It's more fun to go with the underdog in something like this. Mavericks.
Go with the Mavs. And then,
especially, you see that 21%. That 21% is disrespectful. Like, I think the Clippers will win, but I think it's going to be close as hell. That's disrespectful to the Mavericks.
And then here we got a fun question. Who will score the most points in this series? You got technically 4 options, but 3 players. You got Luka, Paul George, Kawhi, any other player. Is it dumb to not pick Luka? Is there a case where Kawhi or Paul George make it happen?
Absolutely. There's an easy case to be made. They're both elite scorers. Kawhi, especially in the playoffs, and Paul George has finished a regular season top 3 in scoring before in his career. So, with that being said, give me Luka.
But we're assuming Kawhi is going to guard Luka, yes?
I mean, sometimes, maybe not as much to start, but Kawhi is like a queen on a chessboard on defense. They'll throw him around, and whenever it makes sense, they'll probably move him to Luka exclusively. So I would say it will happen eventually, but maybe not right out of the gate. Either way, I think Luka's scoring. Luka was scoring on Kawhi last year. I think Luka scores. Luka is one of the few people I think can actually score on Kawhi.
Okay, we'll roll with the people here. 83% towards Luka. Who's going to win this series? We're going to take the Brooklyn Nets, no question.
Yeah, Nets. Come on.
This one's interesting. So the Nets on whoever they play, assuming it's the Wizards, there's an over-under of 3.5 different players with a 30-point game in series. I'm going over. Like it's 82.
What is this? Over under 3.5 different players with 30-point game.
Well,
we're expecting it to be the Wizards. So you basically have guarantees for Harden, Kyrie, and KD.
One of them will hit.
You also have a guarantee for
Beal or Westbrook.
I think both. I think you're getting 5 in that series.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario, it's the Celtics, and I think you get 4 because Tatum will have at least 130 burger for sure.
That's a prop, lock and drop it. We'll take 3.5 over all day. And then who will win this? This is the landslide with the Knicks in favor here. Like, are we? Is there? Paint me a picture where the Hawks win. Can you get your Bob Ross on and tell me how the Hawks could pull this off?
Well, because the Knicks are the worst of all the teams that have home court advantage. The Knicks are by far the worst, by far. I mean, the Hawks could have a bad series and could win. So, there's probably no other team that you could say if your opponent has a bad series, or if you have a bad series, your opponent's going to, lose. You're still going to win. So, give me the Hawks. I actually think, especially the disrespect, I maybe would consider taking the Hawks here. But we both said Knicks, so. If you want to go Knicks, I'm fine with it.
We'll roll with it, but this could be a game where the Knicks. It wouldn't surprise me if the Knicks swept them. Like, is that a possibility?
It wouldn't surprise me if either team swept. Honest to God, like I really have no idea what the heck's going to happen in that series. But I think you have to roll with the Knicks.
And then the next question is who will record more points plus rebounds plus assists in the first round? This is Julius Randle, no contest, correct? I don't know. Like, if Trae Young's putting up 30 a game, he doesn't get a lot of rebounds, but the assists could be there.
Yeah. So Randle gets about 40 of those per game combined, and Trae gets about 35 plus his rebounds. Trae gets about 38 of those per game. So, I mean, just, it's a lot closer than you think, but I still go Randle. Randle, I think, makes the most sense there.
Okay. Who's going to win this series? We took look at this. 58% of the people are taking the 7 seed or the 8 seed Warriors to beat the Suns.
Well, this one's a little trickier because, I mean, if the Warriors win the play-in game, I actually think the Suns win that series. Yep. So while I think the Lakers would definitely beat the Suns, I think the Warriors could beat the Lakers in one game. So I'm almost sort of tempted to pick the Suns, but I still think Lakers are going to go to the finals, and they start tomorrow. They start their run tomorrow. So I would take the number 7, but the argument for the number 2 is really easy to make.
So like if this, I don't know if we're able to edit these picks, but if we're able to edit these tomorrow night and say the Warriors win, we would change it to Phoenix. That's what we're saying here.
That's what I'm saying. Absolutely, yes, yes. If they allowed us to do that, I would say absolutely make the switch.
So looking at a potential Suns versus Lakers series, how many games will be played in this series? Number 6 is the most popular answer at 62%. Should we roll with 7 for fun, or LeBron would shut this down in 6?
I think this series could easily go 7. I think 7's a great number.
Okay, we'll do the fun series there. And then who will win this series? 8 to be determined. Philadelphia. We're just going to go.
They don't even put the names of the teams in there, Kyle. You notice how they had Warriors, Lakers on the last one, and for this one they just put TBD. They've already written that one off. There's no chance.
They could potentially put 4 teams on that, to be determined list. So it's just.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair for the 1s and the 8s. Okay, yep. Good point. Good point.
So we'll move the Jazz and the Philadelphia 76ers in there. But who was it in the comments here? Who was it in the comments? I just saw it. Somebody had the Jazz going down. Aaron Keenan's got the Jazz losing to Golden State. Can we talk about that for a second? Like, is there any way Curry just gets on a roll here as the 8 seed and he takes the Jazz down? The Jazz finished with the best defensive team in the season, correct?
Yes, or very close to it. I would assume yes, but I'm not 100% certain. My gut would tell me that the Jazz, at worst, win that series in 6 games. I just think, the number 1 seed to start the playoffs is going to be really tough to beat. Is there a path to the Golden State winning? Absolutely. Curry, you have to win one of the first 2 games. So all that really means is Curry has to go absolutely apeshit in game 1 or game 2. Doesn't even have to do it in both. So could that easily happen? Absolutely. Then you go back home to the your nice arena. You take 2. All of a sudden you're up 3-1, going back to Utah with 3 games left. I mean, that's the path. And could they do it? Absolutely. Will they do it? I just don't think so.
So I just pulled up the Warriors' schedule this year. So they lost 1 game to Utah back in January. I'll keep it moving here. Let's see if I can find the next Utah. They did beat Utah at home in March 14th, so 1-1. And then you roll down for maybe one more game. Where are we? And they beat them again, May 10th. They won the 2-1 in the series on the season. So maybe, makes me pause just a little bit. Curry had 36 in their last game in May. Let me see. He had 32 earlier in March, and then in the loss, he only had 24. But he was the only player that did anything in that game. I don't know if Draymond Green was playing yet either, but they're a little bit different with a healthy Draymond. So I'd be open to that one going to at least 6 if that's how the season's going to go. But we'll see. That's going to be a fun series if it does come to that. Where were we on? All right, give me a number. How many points Joel Embiid scores first round, assuming that's 5 games, maybe?
What the hell? Okay, so 5 games. Let's call it 29.3 per game. How does that sound?
29.3 times 5 games. We're going to go 146.5.
What do you want to do, round up or round down?
Oh, we're going with the 0.5, man.
No. Go. We gotta. There's no fence sitting in this one, Kyle. We have to hit this on the head. Round up. I love it. Round up.
I like 7s better than 5, so we'll go with that. But that
I like that.
This fun exercise here. I don't know if I can do conference semis yet. Yep. So this what's cool is it'll reset every round. So I did put a link in the chat. I can even put it in the description below after the video is done if you're watching this later. But we got 4 rounds of fun stuff to do here. And let's see, we're going on about 40 minutes here. John, I'm going to open up the floor. Like, what else do we need to cover tonight with the play-in tournament week is here. What are you most excited about?
I think that the night games, the 7-8 games for both conferences are going to be a lot of fun. Russell Westbrook can't miss TV right now, and LeBron James and Steph Curry have been can't miss TV for a long, long time now. So it's today and tomorrow. We all get a treat. We all get the best dessert I could possibly imagine. I don't have much more to say. I mean, it's playoff basketball, and we have superstars duking it out. It's great. It's a great time.
I'd be willing to bet that tomorrow night's ratings for the Lakers Golden State game, that's going to be probably their most watched event of the season. Like it's going to be a treat. Not only is it LeBron versus Steph, you got AD in there too, but they potentially get sent to an elimination game. So this is a lot of fun. And I just want everybody to stay healthy. I think that's the most important thing right now. So I just wanted to let's pull up and take a peek here. So this game's still at halftime. I'm gonna hit refresh to see if it started back up.
It's still at half.
Indiana, it's a 24-point game. Assuming this one's done, when does the next game start? Is that 8:00? Yeah, it says 8:00.
It's 8, so pretty much right after this one, give or take.
I think it's West. Yeah, they get bumped back a little bit. So we'll be excited for that. And then does the first round start on Saturday? Yes. Nothing on Friday, so day off on Friday, and then we're going to pick up on Saturday's game. So it looks like all of, I guess, 2 East and 2 West games. That's probably how they're going to do it going forward. I would assume so. But man, playoff basketball is here. Anything else on your mind, John? Like what do we think here? I guess we didn't finish. Like, should we just fill out our little brackets here?
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think that we should close this out with the rest of the bracket exercise, and then maybe we could call it unless you had something else.
No, I think this is good. If you guys got any questions in the chat room, hit us up. We're gonna pick we're in the final 4 of each conference right now. I think the way we did it, it's Philly versus the Knicks here to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. We're gonna move Philly past them, no question.
Yeah, I think that series is maybe a little more competitive than some people will expect, but I think Philly in 5 or 6.
Yep. And then you're gonna get Milwaukee. This is what I just want to watch Milwaukee, Brooklyn. That one's going to 7. And it could go either way. The Bucks fan in me thinks that they can get it done. They did get it done against them the last 2 games of the season, but that was without James Harden. But I think they've proven that they can get by a team of this caliber. But I think I'm going to roll with Brooklyn just to be safe. Unless you can convince me, are we moving Milwaukee past Brooklyn?
Bucks and 6.
Bucks and 6.
I mean, let's be honest. This is the most difficult challenge in the Eastern Conference. The Brooklyn Nets, they are a super team. No matter how you want to define the term, they fit the definition. They fit the criteria. They have 3 of the top 50 offensive players of all time. And that actually might be an underestimate. I mean, they're ridiculously loaded offensively. I think the Bucks have some of the pieces that you need to defend a team like that, but will it manifest, in a 7-game series when Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden are locked in? That remains to be seen. We have not seen this Bucks team in the playoffs, and Drew Holiday has proven many times that he can be a beast in the playoffs. But I just think, my gut says Bucks in 6, but that's more of just like a reaction to anytime I see a Bucks in a playoff series, whether they're at the 8 seed or anything, the 1 seed or anything in between. So I'd say my mind is telling me the Nets, and my heart is telling me the Bucks.
All right, let's be humble here. We're gonna take the Nets to take out the Bucks, but we're not. That's not to say we are not hopeful that this can happen, because I think if the Bucks end up playing the Sixers, the Bucks can take out the Sixers. It's just really, if they get past Brooklyn, I think they can. I think they can do some damage here. So I was able to find a quick little link thing where I could click some of the names in here. So we got the East filled out. We'll get to the Sixers versus the Nets in a second. Now I accidentally hit it, but we did talk about the Lakers beating the Blazers, so I accidentally clicked them forward to the final. And then what are we doing? The Clippers or the Dallas Mavericks here?
No, let's go with the Mavericks.
Of Mavs, and then we're probably going to move Utah in here, right?
Yes, yes.
All right, so we're talking Utah and LA Lakers in the Western Conference Final, and then you got the Sixers versus the Brooklyn Nets. This would be great basketball, really good basketball. Do you want to do the East or the West first?
Well, I think we should back up to the West. We did talk about the Blazers, Lakers a little bit, but I want to talk about the Mavericks, Jazz just a little.
Okay.
I think the Jazz maybe don't win that series. Is that what you think is going to happen for sure? Because I think that series goes 7, whether it's Jazz, Mavericks, or Jazz, Clippers.
All right, we're going Dallas. That's what I want. It's what I want. We moved the Nets past. I think we can be a little bit loose with the rules here. I do think I think Dallas can do it. I don't know what's up with Porzingis. Is he healthy yet?
I think Luka Magic could be enough on its own, but Porzingis is, yeah, if he's totally out, I guess it would be game over for the Mavericks.
I mean, Dwight Powell had been playing nicely. They have a couple other guys that they like to rotate in there. So, like, obviously, stopping Gobert would be tough. But Jordan Clarkson's been playing pretty well. And I guess too, like, what's up with has Donovan Mitchell officially returned?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, they still have until Saturday, Sunday before they play their first game.
I don't know. Maybe like I'm open to it. I think either way though, I like the Lakers to move on to the West or through the Western Championship here. But is there any way say we get the Luka versus LeBron matchup? Just tell me some words. What could we be looking forward to seeing here?
I actually think, like Luka could outperform LeBron statistically, but the Lakers are going to win that series. I think Luka could be the star of the series, but AD and LeBron, they're tested. This is what they do. This is what they were designed to do. I think they're going to go to the finals again this year.
All right. I got no problem with that. I could see that one going to 6. And we'll put the Lakers in the NBA Finals here. And then we get to the Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers. Assume everybody's healthy for the Nets. I think that's how you have to paint this picture. If it's a duo, they're beatable. They could lose to Milwaukee if one or two or more of their guys are missing games, and especially against the Sixers, I think that could be doable here. But the Sixers they've been the number 1 team all season. Do you want me to pull up to see how they played against each other this season?
It doesn't matter. I'll take the Nets. And if we're playing by the assumption you just laid out, like I just think those, the same reason, and I have all the bias in the world towards my Milwaukee Bucks, even wearing a beautiful Bucks hat today. But I still my brain just is screaming at me. Nets are going to crush them. Nets are going to crush them, and that's how I think about that's how I think about this Sixers Nets series. They're going to overpower them offensively. I think Embiid and Simmons could play perfect. They could do everything right, and they could lose in 5 games. It's going to be really tough for anyone to take the Nets out. And that's why this is the finals that I think would be the most entertaining. Again, as much as I'm a Bucks fan, and Suns are my second favorite team. Like there's something about a Suns Milwaukee finals that just gives me all the goosebumps I could ever imagine. I think this Lakers Nets final if it does materialize this way, it could be a really special event. Like this could be one of the better finals of all time.
It's half of an all-star game.
Yes.
That would be really good for the NBA ratings, especially if LeBron legacy-wise, if him and AD were able to take down the Nets trio, I think that would be really huge for just cementing his legacy as the Nets. They're technically I haven't looked at Vegas odds or anything, but assuming all 3 guys are healthy, this is going to be all hands on deck effort to take the Nets out any given game. So if this is the championship, I'm probably leaning with the Nets here. I would want it to go to 6 or 7, of course, like anybody else. But man, assuming everyone's healthy, but you got also got to think they have to look at the Nets' schedule. They have the probably toughest route to get to this point. They have to put up with 7 games maybe against Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal. That could be a 6-game shootout. Milwaukee, that's going to be a tough physical game. Milwaukee's not going to go down quietly. Then they have to take down Joel Embiid. That is a murderer's row and all-star talent laden path to the NBA Finals. So the probability of those Nets players getting healthy to this game, I question. I don't know. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, it's you could say very similar things about the Lakers. I mean, LeBron is, typically at this time of year, if he's playing, and he's playing great. But his health has been really, up in the air for the remainder of the season, and same with Anthony Davis. So you could really anything you say like that about the Nets, I think you could say equally about the Lakers. But overall, I agree with you. I think both of these teams, we're definitely allowing the at full strength portion of the argument to sway us a little bit because, to Aiden's point earlier, talent wins series, and I think that's totally true in the NBA, and it's very tested over time. There's definitely been some examples where that hasn't been totally true, but 9 times out of 10, I think that is what defines a series or how a series goes. So, if this was the championship, if everyone's healthy, I think I'd take the Nets in 6 or 7. But if you argued, it wouldn't take much for you to convince me it would be the Lakers. I mean, I'm kind of like changing my mind about that all day. I'm daydreaming about this finals. If you can't tell, Kyle.
And then, so we'll take the Nets here. Again, this is assuming everything is healthy. But I just want to ask, I guess we'll sign off with this final thought. The 2 teams that I think I don't see how Philly gets by the Bucks or the Nets. I think if someone's going to represent the East, it's Milwaukee or the Nets. So it's going to come out of that part of the bracket. And then for the West, it literally is the Wild West. You could make probably a case for almost any team just going on a run. Maybe catching a break with someone else getting injured or something like that. I don't think I've ever seen a more wide open West, and it's beautiful. I'm super excited that there's not like a powerhouse. Utah's number 1, but it still doesn't. It still feels kind of pretty even throughout. But if you had to pick one more, you already mentioned Phoenix. If you had to pick a different team besides the Lakers, who could you see representing the West?
Clippers. As weird as that sounds, I just think the Clippers, actually have, all things considered, they might have kind of an easy path.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas round 1 is not the hardest round 1 opponent. Utah round 2 could easily be the easiest round 2 opponent of anyone on the West. I mean, of any possible option anyone could have on the West. Certainly tougher than the Knicks, but on the East. But and then round 3, you might get a banged up Lakers team. You might get a Phoenix team that's never been there before. I think the Clippers, if they decide to just lock in and click right now, or Saturday or Sunday, whenever game 1 is, I think they have a reasonable path. They have the talent, I think they really have a good team. But they haven't proved anything yet. So that's a tough one. But I think the Clippers would be my vote there.
All right, well done. I think that's all I got, man. We'll sign off here in a second. Any final words from you before we sign off tonight?
I think there are 4 games that are going to define the NBA Finals. I think the first game is tomorrow night. It's the Lakers-Warriors game. I think overall the Lakers are going to make the finals no matter what happens. But if Curry knocks them off and they go to Utah round 1, that 1-8 thing, I don't know. I just have even though the Suns are a way better team than Utah, I just think something weird about that. Maybe a chink in the armor or whatever you want to call it. Game 2 is, I think, this 2-7 game, and which I do expect to be Lakers Suns. But that 2-7 game, if whoever wins that game, I think goes to the finals. And then on the Eastern side, I think Bucks Heat is really big, and then Nets versus whoever wins Bucks Heat, I think goes to the finals for the Eastern Conference. Mm-hmm. I know you didn't. We just kind of we kind of wrote the Heat off because we were just getting into hypotheticals, and they just they were so far down the list. But I actually think the Heat maybe have the third or fourth best chance to make the finals on the East. So Western team, give me the Clippers. Eastern team, give me the Heat. Those are my two kind of random ass teams. But I think these playoffs are going to be defined by only a few games or only a few series.
Mm-hmm. And then I would say the series that I think that could dictate the most it's the Clippers Mavericks. Like we both just said, we could see both Mavericks or the Clippers making a run, especially if it's the Warriors that get up to Utah. Perhaps the Clippers or Dallas slide past Utah when it gets there, and then you're looking at a pretty epic matchup against either the Suns, the Lakers, maybe even Portland. I could see this 4-5 being kind of a swing position here, where they just kind of launch themselves and get hot. That's going to be a tough series either way. That's going to be a series I watch pretty much every game, because you get Luka, you get Kawhi. Kawhi's been there, Paul George has been there. Then you get Luka. This is his first time in the playoffs, right? Or was he there last year?
They were there. It's a rematch from last season.
Okay, so, I'm so excited it's here. I'm so glad fantasy basketball is actually over. That was a long season. I found myself looking at my phone last night to check the scores, and it was like a habit. But anyways, that's gonna do it for tonight's Tuesday night hangout. I believe we'll be back next Tuesday. We'll have a lot more to talk about. But for John, you can follow him at the link below on Twitter there. And thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys in another video. Peace.